Hello everyone, and welcome to Chapter 9 of our course on Artificial Intelligence and Prompt Engineering. My name is Jose Antonio Menendez. I am a systems engineer with advanced studies in administration, cybersecurity, and generative artificial intelligence. Throughout more than 30 years in IT, I have designed, developed, and modernized information systems for major organizations in Peru and the United States. My professional career has allowed me to experience several generations of technology, from traditional IBM AS/400 environments to databases, networking, cybersecurity, cloud computing, and now generative artificial intelligence. And one lesson has remained constant throughout all those technological generations. A system should never be considered reliable merely because it worked once. It must be tested, validated, challenged, and improved. And exactly the same principle applies to prompt engineering. Today we are going to study iterative prompt refinement and prompt testing. This is one of the most important disciplines separating casual users of AI from professional practitioners. Many people begin working with generative AI believing that somewhere there is a magical perfect prompt. They imagine that if they discover exactly the correct sentence, they will always produce a perfect result. That is not how professional prompt engineering works. A prompt should instead be considered a working specification. You create a version, you test it, you observe the result, you identify weaknesses, and you modify. Think about software development. A programmer normally does not write an entire complex application and simply assume that it works. We develop, we compile, we test, we find defects, we correct them, and we test again. Prompt engineering follows this same philosophy. The process can be represented as prompt, response, evaluation, improvement, retest, and then the cycle repeats. This is what we mean by iterative refinement. Iterative prompt refinement is the systematic process of improving a prompt based on the results produced by the AI. The word iterative means that the process happens repeatedly. For example, version 1 produces a result. We inspect it. Version 2 improves one weakness. Eventually, we reach a prompt that produces consistently useful results. The objective is therefore not to create the perfect prompt immediately. The objective is to create a measurable process for improving prompts. Imagine that I work for a customs brokerage company. I want artificial intelligence to analyze an operational report. My first prompt might be, analyze this report. Technically, this is a valid prompt, but it is extremely weak. The AI does not know what type of analysis I need, who will read it, which variables are important, whether I need financial or strategic analysis, or whether recommendations should be included. The response might be correct, but practically useless. Now we refine it. Version 2. Analyze this customs brokerage operational report and identify major trends. Better, but still incomplete. Version 3. Identify trends in shipment volume, revenue, customer activity, and operational exceptions. Now we have substantially improved the instruction. But for the CEO, it might be too much text. So we refine to version 4. Identify volume trends, revenue changes, anomalies, and risks. Present results as a one-page executive summary followed by a table with findings, evidence, and recommended action. Now we have a professional instruction. I recommend using a simple 6-stage cycle. Stage 1. Define the objective. Ask, what exactly am I trying to accomplish? Define the actual business objective, like identifying customers whose revenue has declined significantly. Stage 2. Create a baseline prompt. Write the simplest reasonable prompt that describes the objective. Do not spend an hour trying to make it perfect. We just need a baseline to start with. Stage 3. Run the prompt. Provide representative data and observe what the AI produces. This is where we gather our first piece of evidence for refinement. Stage 4. Evaluate the output. Ask, was the answer correct? Was anything missing? Did it follow the requested format? Did it invent information? Was the tone appropriate? Could another person understand the result? Stage 5. Modify one or more prompt components. Improve the task definition, the context, the examples, the constraints, the output format, the terminology, the audience, or the validation requirements. Finally, stage 6. Test again. Run the modified prompt against the same input. Then compare the results. This creates a controlled improvement process. A prompt can usually be improved by modifying 6 major components. Component 1. Task. What exactly should the AI do? Instead of just saying, look at this spreadsheet, say, analyze it and identify customers whose revenue declined more than 20%. Component 2. Context. Why is the task being performed? For example, you are assisting the director of IT of a customs brokerage company to identify customers that require follow-up. Context helps the AI understand the business purpose. Component 3. Input. Tell the model what information is available. For example, the spreadsheet contains customer name, invoice date, revenue, shipment count, and last transaction date. Explicitly describing your data improves clarity. Component 4. Constraints. We studied this in Chapter 8. Examples. Do not estimate missing revenue. Do not invent customer information or use only data appearing in the spreadsheet. These prevent common AI errors. Component 5. Output. Describe exactly what the response should look like. For example, return a table with customer, revenue change, last activity, risk level, evidence, and recommended action. Structured output is easier to use. Component 6. Verification. Tell the model how to check its work. For example, before presenting the final answer, verify that every customer recommendation is supported by numerical evidence from the supplied dataset. This is extremely important. Prompt testing should not rely on only one example. If we test only customers with clean data, the prompt may appear excellent. But real data sets contain unusual situations. Therefore, we need different test cases. We need to test edge cases, customers with dramatic increases, those whose revenue declined, accounts with no transactions or missing values. Edge cases reveal whether your prompt is truly robust. A simple prompt scorecard can transform subjective evaluation into structured evaluation. Score each response from 1 to 5 on accuracy, completeness, relevance, format compliance, clarity, evidence, and hallucination control. A simple evaluation might look like accuracy 5, evidence 3, actionability 4. Now we know exactly where improvement is necessary. Perhaps the next prompt revision should focus specifically on strengthening the evidence. An extremely useful technique is using AI to improve AI instructions. You can ask, review the following prompt as a professional prompt engineer. Identify ambiguous instructions, missing context, and potential hallucination risks. Ask it to produce an improved version while preserving your original objective. However, remember, the AI's recommendation must still be tested. An AI-generated improvement is only a hypothesis until we evaluate its performance. The distinction is important. Prompt design is creating instructions. Prompt engineering is creating, testing, measuring, documenting, and improving those instructions so they work reliably. That is true engineering. I recommend remembering the acronym CYCLE. Create your initial prompt. Yield the output. Check the response against criteria. Learn why it succeeded or failed, and enhance the prompt. Then repeat the cycle. If you remember only 5 ideas, remember these. Never expect the first prompt to be final. Test using difficult examples. Define measurable criteria. Document your versions. And never trust apparent intelligence without verification. The future belongs to professionals who design AI processes that are reliable, testable, secure, and repeatable. This is the difference between simply using AI and engineering AI solutions. Thank you for joining me in Chapter 9. I am Jose Antonio Menendez. Keep experimenting, keep testing, keep learning, and most importantly, never stop improving the question. I'll see you in the next chapter.